Hey everybody, what's up? So I've been doing a little bit of thinking recently, and since, well, we're all on lockdown because of the COVID-19 situation that's happening all over the world, and there aren't any new movies coming out, at least for a few weeks from now, I kind of had this urge to, do something, be creative, and there's this brand new movie on Netflix called Extraction. So I figured, well, there aren't any new movies in theaters, so why not just go on Netflix and watch a movie that was probably at some point considered to be in theaters anyway. And then I thought to myself, since there aren't any new movies coming out, so there's no new movies to go out and watch and do a review on, why not just do a review on this Netflix movie, Extraction? So here's what I'm doing basically. This is not going to be a regular standard review, obviously, because most of my reviews involve me going to the theater and doing a before and after video. Obviously, I can't do the before part because that idea came to me while I was watching the movie, but this is going to try to be a new kind of format that I'm testing out with this movie, and hopefully I can continue this format forward if this lockdown goes on for too long and a lot of other movies will be released on digital or on streaming. So let's just talk about Extraction, the new movie on Netflix starring Chris Hemsworth, Thor himself. Now the movie itself is pretty straightforward. There's this kid, this Indian kid, who's the son of this big, rich and powerful drug lord in India. A rival drug lord kidnaps the kid, and the father hires Chris Hemsworth, who's this elite sort of mercenary type of a person. He hires Chris Hemsworth to go and find his kid and bring him back safely. That's pretty much all I can say about the movie without, spoiling anything, because there are some things to be spoiled in the movie. Nothing too much. This movie's not really that all surprising. There are a few definite surprises, a few unexpected twists and turns, but overall it's a pretty average movie as far as story and acting. There's nothing too surprising. Chris Hemsworth is always awesome in everything he does, even outside of his MCU role. If you haven't watched Chris Hemsworth in anything, he hasn't really been in a lot of particularly good movies recently. He's been in the Ghostbusters reboot in 2016. He was in the new Men in Black International. He was I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was that Moby Dick movie, In the Heart of the Sea, I think that was his name. He was in the movie Black Hat. Yeah, he hasn't exactly been in the most stellar projects, but he's always delivered 100% performance. He always outshines everyone in the movie with him, and this movie is no exception. He's truly the best performance in this movie. The other supporting casts, yeah, they were fine. David Harbour was there for a while. I was really looking forward to seeing him in this movie, but honestly, his performance was was good, but his appearance in the movie was very short, and there's barely anything to talk about other than it was impactful on some of the other characters in the movie. The actor playing the kid was good. I just didn't really think it was too groundbreaking. Same as any of the other performances in the movie. A lot of actors and actresses that unfortunately I couldn't name at the moment. Really, David Harbour and Chris Hemsworth are the only marquee names, the ones that you remember. As far as the characters, again, like I said, pretty standard stuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. There's this sniper character called G that I wish was in the movie more, because he seemed like the coolest guy around, other than Chris Hemsworth. But spoiler alert, his role isn't really that big, which is a bit of a shame, because I, for a bit, thought he was a pretty good, cool character, and I wanted to see more of. There's the female lead, and we don't really get to see too much of her. Again, nothing too well developed. The main story revolves around Chris Hemsworth trying to protect this kid, trying to get this kid back to his father. There's this character Saju, who apparently works for the kid's father. I don't really know what this guy does for his father. The movie doesn't really explain it all that well, but yeah, he was really good. I think he was my third favorite character after the sniper character called G. The villain was a pretty standard villain, rival crime lord who kidnaps this kid and, does everything to keep, to convince his father to pay the ransom to get the kid back. Again, I'm not really spoiling too much. Most of it is in the first, opening 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. Yeah, nothing too surprising. The one thing that I will take away from this movie is the villain actually says a line, which I think was a pretty interesting line. He says, no matter how big of a badass you think you are, there's always someone else who's a bigger badass than you. Something very similar to that, not exactly word for word. I will say this, one quick warning though, this movie is in 3 languages, English, Hindi, and Bengali. Now, if you're one of those people who struggles a bit with reading subtitles in movies, maybe this movie is not for you. Honestly, to me, I have this problem all the time. That's why I try to avoid subtitled movies if I can. I just either watch a movie in a language that I understand, or I just try to watch a dubbed version in a language that I do understand, because reading in movies, I know some people might scoff at the idea of watching dubbed movies or dubbed TV shows, but it's hard for me. I'm sorry. The problem is with me, not with the movie itself. But yeah, I normally try to avoid these things. And this movie wasn't that bad. It was pretty easy to follow, mostly because the majority of the foreign language stuff isn't really that important to the plot. Mostly it's just background noises. But yeah, I would recommend watching this movie with subtitles, because it kind of gets a little difficult to follow, especially when they're shifting from English to Hindi to Bengali mid-sentence sometimes. So it's pretty hard to follow. Overall, this movie is pretty fine. Really great action. There's this action scene that is this long continuous shot that goes on for it feels like 20 minutes. It's long and it's exciting, and it really is the biggest takeaway from the movie. It's fun and engaging, and it has you on the edge of your seat. The rest of the movie isn't really all that exciting. The best parts of the movie happen in the first hour of the movie. Then it tries to go in a dramatic way, and it might work for some people, it doesn't for others. I thought it was pretty okay, half and half. But the action scene, the long continuous 20-minute action scene is worth the price of admission alone. Now, of course, you're probably not paying too much for this movie because it's on Netflix, and if you have a Netflix account, you're probably gonna watch this movie anyway. So I would recommend watching this movie. It was a really fun, enjoyable ride. Just don't expect anything too crazy from it. It's not, one of the best movies of the year so far, and it really doesn't really say much, since there weren't really a lot of movies at all this year. But overall, I'd say this was a fun movie, definitely worth the watch, and I highly recommend watching this movie, Extraction. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you want me to continue doing this little format of just me sitting on my couch again and reviewing movies, which is something that I haven't done in almost a year now, since I just didn't really feel like doing it. I thought that doing the before and after videos in the theaters was enough for me, but then obviously theaters closed down and there aren't any new movies coming out. So that's something new that I'm going to have to be experimenting with. But overall, I think I'm doing a pretty good job with this one in particular. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll see more from this new format in the future. Stay safe, everyone, and wash your hands. Hello again, everybody. I really hope you enjoyed this video, because I really enjoyed making it. So, if you like what you've seen here, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you guys next time.